Map number 2 of Perfect's choice will be Disco Bloodbath. In the bottom right corner, as the red Zerg, or Risen Amateur, it's Perfect. And on the right, as the blue toss, or the Platinum Heroes, it's Ash. Ash, looking to get into a macro game once again. Perfect. Going up to 16 supply, most likely for a hatch first. Ash, in game number 1, staying on top of his scouting. Only taking risks when he need to. Mumbles. Unfortunately, move commanding the army. And Ash taking the advantage and pouncing the undefended bases of the Madman. Disco Bloodbath, pretty large map. Pretty large, pretty thick map for a macro play. It's not quite a Thunderbird, but should see a late game here. Rush distance pretty far. Zerg tends to use Nidus, but also a pretty okay swarm host map. Go up onto this high ground or down on this low ground, drop a Nidus, toss in the swarm host, drop the Locust, run away, do the same right over here, and it's a little bit far to try and engage those Nidus swarms if you're the Protoss or the Terran. Probu not gonna go check and see if there's a third, actually gonna go down to the initial 2 lings of Perfect. 4 lings. Takes a village, kill a probe. Perfect with a 250, pretty normally timed third. Ash with an Adept opener, going into Robo once again. First Adept, going to check, see if there's a third. We should see a shade towards the main. Make sure there's no roaches, make sure there's not an undue amount of lings. Actually, it's gonna take a bunch of shots at the third. Perfect's gonna send 4 lings to engage. The Adept can kite this, can take out all the lings. The Perfect is preventing possible drone damage, and remember, this isn't scouting. Link speed gonna allow the link to cause extra damage, but like I said, Adept, good unit. Does only have 2 health though. Perfect. With the 330 Roach Warren, getting up an Evo chamber as well, going directly into +1, that means there isn't going to be any kind of 3-base push, at least for some time. Stalker Sentry on the other side for Ash. This is looking like a 3rd base play. This is not looking like a 2-base push. I would be very surprised. There's just not enough units, not enough tech down. That said, Perfect didn't get an Overlord Scout. Well, I guess he did, but not in some time. He didn't see a Twilight Council, so he's gotta be thinking, you know, Is the Protoss going to take that third? It's very likely. A little bit of a late lair, as he did start that +1 first. Perfect. Gonna start making defensive units. Ash is going for the third base at the 512 mark. Seven more roaches on the way for perfect. Gonna be a Stargate and double gateway. Interesting. This is an interesting play out of the Protoss. Usually don't see a Stargate started up at the 545 mark. It's gonna be a Phoenix as well. Perfect doesn't have any Overlords out on the map, so for Ash to do any damage with his Phoenix, he's gonna have to get a few and hope he can pick off quite a few drones. Perfect actually didn't saturate his third. He's continuing to mass roaches. I guess he's gonna make a wave of drones now, but Ash is going for a third base. Perfect has to attack or he might be dead. Roach speed is started as well, but I mean, Perfect sitting on 50 workers at the 6.5 minute mark. Ash a little bit far behind, but again, with that third nexus established, you should, as the Protoss, always continuously pump out drones. Or, pump out drones. Yeah, that would be a little bit of a difficult task. Pump out probes. If Ash even resumed probe production now, he would be very far economically ahead of the Zerg, but Perfect, with the late saturation of the third, he is going to be catching up here. We do see Ash re-beginning probe production, dropping a Chrono Boost as well. 4 Immortals, a couple Stalkers, a couple Zealots. No charge on the way, though. Ash still hasn't gotten a Twilight Council, opting for that Stargate instead. And the Phoenix not really doing anything. Perfect. Grabbing a 4th at the 730. Phoenix just kind of seeing creep spread at this point. Twilight Council about halfway done. Back home for the Protoss. And a Warp Prism coming out. Could give these 4 Immortals a lot more value. Oh, perfect. Accidentally clicks on one of his own roaches instead of Phoenix. Just so everyone knows, during these earlier Platinum matches, I do like to point out small mistakes that the players make, not to judge them, but at least many of Risen's players do go back and watch the replay, or watch the cast again, along with their own replay, and tend to learn from it, tend to move ahead. The 2 Trapped Adepts trying to hold the third, but I mean, it's slow Zealots against a huge Roach Ravager Hydra push. Unperfect. I guess it's basically just Roach Hydra, but a couple of probes going down for the toss. It's slow Zealots split all over the map. And Ash is going to make a Dark Shrine play. There are no Overseers even on the map for Perfect. So this could be pretty huge. Where's the Warp Prism? I mean, there's 4 Immortals here, but there's no shield batteries. The Warp Prism isn't in play, and they're facing down a huge army of Hydra with no charge lots to tank and no Archons to deal splash. Only 2 Immortals left. Okay, charge has finished. The Zealot's going to deal huge damage to the Hydra now. All the Immortals do go down. Ash keeping the Warp Prism decide on the other side, and now there's going to be a huge charge lot warp in. Perfect does have a pretty large bank. He is, you know, not remaxing, but re-upping the army, I guess. Roach Hydra gonna move to respond to this. Is it though? Okay. Queen goes down. They get a nice surround on the hatch. Roach going to aggro the charge lot mobs here. Down goes the Phoenix. Roach is tanking all the damage. Only one of them goes down in the defense. Nice hold here from Perfect. But Ash has the Dark Shrine. Could be seeing DTs. We could be seeing Archons. And again, Perfect has no Overseers. Ash with 3k minerals, 2k gas in the bank. Could possibly make, like, large amounts of Dark Templar. Just masses of the Knights of Shakuras. We're gonna see that begin to happen with a 4 Archon warp in. Storm is started as well. Charge lots going in on the Hydra. Immortal Stalker behind this. Perfect. Pushing in. Down goes the Immortal. Down go the Stalkers. Down goes a couple gateways. And Ash really needs to warp in here. He's going to go with 7 charge lots, but that's not going to be enough to hold. The third base of Ash will fall. He can only hope to hold the natural, hold the choke points. Does have a couple shield batteries to shore up the defense, as well as an Immortal, but this is so much firepower from the Zerg. Upgrades are here as well. For Perfect. +2 about to hit the field as the siege of the natural begins. Ash going to come in from behind with a couple more charge lots, but it's a little bit mistimed. The forces in the front go down. The Immortal fighting out of range of the shield batteries, and it's 6 army supply to 100. Perfect moves up the ramp, gets a snipe on the pylon. Going into the natural. Getting the probes down. And it looks like Perfect might take the first victory for Risen Amateur. He's getting a Spire behind this. GG is called. And the score is evened up 1-1.